I know it's weird because there's different types of takes on Xbox. Like, are they going to do something that we, know? Are they gonna do something that is expected? Some people actually expected them to announce an Xbox. A new Xbox at the Game Awards last year. I knew that wasn't going to happen. They're like, well, it's the big 25th anniversary. Look, the 20th anniversary went with no fanfare. Whatever the case may be, Xbox is like the poorest $3 trillion company that I've ever heard of. It's kind of crazy to see how things have kind of went for them lately. But, again, that's Microsoft for you. We're going to have to wait and see how that works out. But a lot of people think their console could be coming in 2027 late, but there's now rumors that this could possibly be delayed into 2028 due to shortages of memory and costs and all this kind of stuff. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out and how Microsoft handles that. So now there's like I said, there's rumors kind of running rampant with this stuff. Is it going to be something that's terrible? Is it going to be something that really changes all that much? I don't actually think so. I mean, they could delay Xbox into 2028. I don't think it's going to have much of an impact, just because of what they're releasing, which is going to be an expensive mid-level PC that's not upgradable and has no exclusive games. So yeah, again, I think it's a very niche product to begin with, but I also feel like people largely aren't going to care either way if it's delayed or if it comes out. I mean, you might see the same handful of people talking about, oh yeah, well, it's gonna be a game changer, whatever. I can't wait to get it. I think people don't understand that the price point of this thing is going to be, or that a lot of hassles that are going to be involved. And like I said, I think we all kind of have our own thoughts on what we're going to buy and stuff like that. But there's been a lot of speculation over the last year and a half about exactly when Microsoft might be preparing to release the next Xbox console. And it sounds like nobody's very sure at the moment. A lot of people are speculating 2027, but it could be 2028 due to extenuating factors. The company itself might not even have nailed down a window yet. We've heard before from Windows Central reporter Jez Gordon that Xbox might be targeting a holiday 2027 launch for the system, but that was prior to the recent reports about RAM shortages due to AI demands. In December, Insider Gaming reporter Tom Henderson suggested that these RAM shortages could lead to next generation consoles being delayed. And now in his latest report for Windows Central about the full screen experience for Xbox and how it'll need to iron out some weaknesses over the next couple of years, Jez mentions that late 2027 is the earliest release window for the next console as things kind of stand, saying, quote, "The next Xbox is a full Windows PC, that much we know. What we know less is exactly how Microsoft is going to go about it. The next Xbox is still a fair bit away, dropping in late 2027 at the earliest, according to my most recent information. I received details about the next Xbox around this time. I exclusively reported on Project Canaan, now known as Xbox Ally. I'm not sure if Microsoft is still committed to the date of 2027 timeline for the next gen Xbox, but if it is, you have to wonder if that's enough time to get all the chips lined up." This time last week, it was actually interesting because there's this site that I'm using, which is Xbox Pure. There was a poll. 24% of the vote said that they felt like it would be an announcement for a reveal this year with a release next year, and 21% have suggested it was too early for an announcement in 2026, while 20% thought it'd be announced and not released until 2028 or later. And 15% said that they don't think we're getting a new Xbox console. So, I mean, I guess that goes to show you what everybody else thinks. But anyway, according to this article, they think we might be waiting until 2028 or later at this point. All the concerns around RAM shortages, coupled with recent suggestions that the PS6 could get delayed, indicates that a 2027 launch might be a bit too ambitious. Ultimately, though, nobody knows for sure right now. We did hear the lady from that was developing the SoC that said that they should be able to get some ready to launch next year, but I don't know. Ultimately, nobody knows for sure, and that might even include Microsoft. They could just be playing it by ear since they're not too big on the hardware anyway. I'll definitely kind of keep an eye out and see if that's something, to me anyway, that would make sense to actually release this thing, like at a specific time. Like Microsoft has done this kind of crazy stuff before. It wouldn't shock me to see it come out in 2027, but it also wouldn't shock me for them to kind of do something different and release it later. They could really do something they've never done before. Like, it wouldn't make sense. Like, I guess it depends on what the demand is, right? Like, versus what the price is and all that kind of stuff. All this stuff, I think, is keyly important to what they're trying to do, But I'm also always kind of curious to see how people think that, how people think about these types of things in terms of, the console would, like, I know we're all kind of eager. Some of us are more eager than others. Like, I feel like I have no problem. I'll get a PS6 or if it's an actual console that Xbox puts out and it's within affordable range, and I say affordable within, like, the PS5 Pro is kind of pushing it what my affordability is, because you can trade stuff in. It makes it a little bit more affordable that way. But I don't think you're going to be able to buy the next Xbox at places where you would be able to trade things in, to be honest with you. And there's less and less places like GameStop around. My GameSpot that was closed, they closed down just randomly. One day they were there, next day they were gone. The next GameStop is like 70 miles away now. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So anyway, like, Microsoft might only offer these things online, and you're telling me $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 things, like, you got to pay up front for, whatever the case may be. Like, I don't think that thing's going to have a very big, very big life or whatever. So, again, we'll see how that kind of works out, if it's something that Microsoft can work something out. And it's going to be strange. Like, I don't care if they wait. I don't care if Sony waits. I'm enjoying the games. Like, the games might finally start to be coming out on both sides. You have Microsoft releasing, their big slate this year. You have Sony supposedly coming out with stuff like Wolverine this year. Maybe a new God of War gets launched. We're probably in line for a new Horizon game. Again, we got the new IP from Sony, Santa Monica, that's been in development for a while. We could be seeing a lot of stuff coming from Sony very soon, so that would mean they're finally starting to pick up that Galactic game from Naughty Dog. So like I said, a lot of stuff picking up, a lot of things kicking off. It really kind of just depends, on how they want to handle it. And again, I'm all for waiting. If stuff comes out early, that's cool too. It is what it is, That's something that I've definitely learned. It is what it is. And, that's just kind of how I kind of handle all of these things these days. I always just say, hopefully we can get some things going, get some people excited about gaming again. The console stuff is in a weird spot, because we're seeing consoles sell, but just Xbox consoles aren't selling worth a damn. And now you have something where this thing could be delayed. That would be unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on how you look at it. And again, what would fans do? Like, what's the better thing for fans to do? Like, I think that's the thing. Like, are we going to see fans do something, or like, are the people, like, here's the thing that I'm enough beating around the bush. The fans that are online, right? There's not a lot of them, right? It's the vocal minority that we see that are like, everything Xbox does is great. Woo! I'll drink Phil Spencer's piss. Woo! Right? Those people that are swearing up and down they're going to buy a $1,500 Xbox PC, are they going to actually step up to the plate? Because these are the same people that are swearing up and down that they're swearing up and down that Xbox is doing everything right, and it's the next big thing, and they're gonna buy, they would buy Final Fantasy come to Xbox, and then you look and Final Fantasy is like the 300 most played Xbox game, right? These are the same people that say console sales don't matter, but when Take-Two have their estimates and they're not counting the Switch, right? They are counting the Switch, but Xbox fans somehow believe that Xbox sold 50 million Series X and S units, which would be utterly impossible giving the tail off. But anyway, when they had that made up in their head that was true, they're like, 50 million, that's pretty damn good, right? That's pretty respectable. So again, console sales would matter if they were to hit that. They won't sniff 50 million if you add Series X and S and their next platform together at sales, and you can take that to the bank, the money bank, that is. But Anyway, let me know what you guys think. How do you guys feel? When would you like to see the next consoles come out? The next Xbox, PlayStation, whatever the case may be. Drop that down in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Rack 'em up.